Okay, good afternoon, my students. So I just want to give you a short lecture over the next topic, which is going to be on genetics. So today we're just going to go over some basics of it, and then I'm going to give you an assignment over this first part. Okay, so I'll get straight to it. That way the video isn't that long. So the first thing, what is genetics, or what are genetics? What does that mean? Okay, so the formal definition of genetics is the study of heredity. So what does that mean? What does heredity mean? So that word heredity just means like what you get from your parents, the way you look. Okay, how is that transferred to you? Okay, so that could mean is whether you're going to be tall versus short, or if your hair comes out curly versus straight, or something like that. Okay, the way you look, the way maybe you're left-handed or right-handed, all of that can be traced back to your genetics. Okay, genetics is the information you get from your mom and your dad, and you put that together and it makes you, right? So you can do the same thing with plants or flowers. So if you look at the genetics of a flower, it'll tell you whether that flower comes out pink or red, okay? So that's the basics of genetics, okay? How information is transferred from your mom and your dad to you, okay? So all of that is transferred in basically in two ways. You can think about it like that. So the first way, or the first, one of the first vocabulary words you need to know is genotype, okay? So genotype, if you look at the beginning, geno, it sounds like your genes, right? Okay, so what are your genes? So the genes or your genotype are special letters called alleles that code for how you look. So these are found in your DNA, in your chromosomes. Okay, they're long strings of letters that your body can kind of read and understand, and they code. They have special messages in there that will, tell you how you look. Okay, so your genotype, those are the genes, those are the letters that actually make up how you look. And then the way you actually look, your physical appearance, is known as your phenotype. Okay, so at the beginning of phenotype, think of it as photo or physical, the actual physical appearance. Again, genotype is just the letters that you have in your chromosomes in your DNA. Okay? And then your phenotype is your actual physical appearance. So I drew a little monito here that has straight hair versus curly hair, or green eyes versus brown eyes, freckles, no freckles. So all of that is your phenotype, but all of that has a special message in your DNA. Okay? So in your DNA, that's where you find your genotype. So the genotype is found in your DNA, special message, special code that tells you how you look. Okay, so that's the basics of genetics. So then the first thing I want us to focus on is the 4 vocabulary words that are part of genotype. Okay, so in the question of the day for today on Google Classroom, I asked you guys, what does the prefix homo and hetero mean? Okay, I got a lot of interesting answers, but a couple of you guys were able to get it correct. But basically what I wanted you guys to research and find out for yourself is the prefix homo means the same, and the prefix hetero means different. So in genotype, since that is the special letters in your DNA. So we're going to be looking at how those different letters can be combined or arranged. So the first way is called homozygous. So if you have something that is homozygous, it is made up of 2 letters that are, think about them being the same size. So you might have something that's, let me do a different color, that way it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Okay, so you might have something that's a big A and a big A, or a little a and a little a. Okay, the same size. So then here, this is what your genotype will look like. It's 2 letters, and your body can read that, and you will be able to read that too and understand what those 2 letters mean. But your body reads that and understands that, okay, that codes for something specific. That codes for my hair. That codes for the color of my eyes. Okay? But those 2 letters together, like that, is your genotype. So this genotype, the big A, or little a, is known as being homozygous because they are the same size. Okay? And then the other one, the other vocabulary word is heterozygous. Again, we're going to be looking at 2 letters, but now they are going to be different sizes. So you might have something like this, a big A and a little a. Again, they're heterozygous because they are different sizes. Okay, so again, homo, same size, hetero, different size. One big, one little. Okay, so the other 2 vocabulary words is something that are dominant and recessive. So dominant, something that is dominant, think of it being stronger. Okay, so something that's stronger as far as genotypes go, the dominant characteristic or the dominant trait is going to be shown with a capital letter. So something that is dominant is going to be shown with a capital letter. Okay? And then something that is recessive, that trait is a little bit weaker. Okay, so recessive is weaker. So that's going to be shown with a lowercase or a little letter. So little a or little b. Okay, now we'll go into this in more detail a little bit later. For right now, my goal is just to have you guys be able to identify whether something's homozygous, heterozygous, or to be able to identify whether something's dominant or recessive. But we'll go into more detail on what these letters mean, how to read them, and all that good stuff a little bit later on. But I'm going to chunk the lectures, that way it's not so long and so much for the very first one. Okay, so that's my genotype. So if I want to go over some examples, okay, let's do another color. Let's do red. Okay, so say in the assignment that I give you, you have something that looks like this. You have big A, big A. Okay, so first of all, the first thing you should notice is they are the same size, right? So since they're the same size, I know they have to be homozygous. Okay, and homozygous what? Since they are both big letters, since they are both capital letters, it is going to be homozygous dominant. Let's put dominant, okay. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Let's do a different color. Okay, next one I have big B, little b. Okay, since they are different sizes, I have a big letter and a little letter, then I know that one is going to be heterozygous. Hetero meaning different. Okay, and you don't have heterozygous dominant or heterozygous recessive. You only have that if you are homozygous. So this one, if it's heterozygous, you just leave it alone like that. Okay, the next one, I have little f, little f. Okay, so they are both the same size. They are both little letters. So that tells me they are homozygous. Okay, they are homozygous. And since they're both little letters, they are homozygous recessive. Okay. And then the last one, let's do purple, sure. The last one, again, I have a big letter and then I have a little letter. So since they are different sizes, that means this genotype is heterozygous. Okay, my handwriting's a little wonky. All right, but that is it for this lecture. Again, I only wanted to cover the basics of genetics. We're going to be covering that for the rest of the week, but I just wanted to introduce you to reading the genotypes, okay? So again, 2 letters together. These 2 letters make up your genotype, okay? And they are a special code that tell you how you look. And the way you look is known as your phenotype, right? It's actually how you look. So whether you have straight hair or what other physical appearance you have, okay? So as long as you're able to understand that for this lecture, then we are good. I'll go into more detail a little bit later. But as always, students, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave me a comment on Google Classroom, or you can email me if you like. Okay, and that's it for